Islands have always fascinated me. From the Caribbean to the Pacific, they're cradles of culture and home to bold, unforgettable flavors. Limes, coconuts, mangoes, they're more than just food. They're history on a plate. You might not think of Manhattan as an island, but it is. You can't walk 5-10 feet without finding delicious island food. I'm Vaughn Diaz, a chef, food historian, and cookbook author. I've spent my life traveling across islands, learning their cuisines. And I'm from an island myself, Puerto Rico. Writing my cookbook, Islas, was a true privilege because I love the island where I'm from, and I traveled the world visiting other islands. Manhattan may not be my first home, but it's where food became my way of life. Today I'm going to tell the story of the plantain.
Muchas gracias, amiga, te lo agradezco.
Its journey is deeply tied to resilience and cultural pride in ways you might not expect. So plantains are probably the most recognizable ingredient from the Caribbean. The history of the plantain began with trauma. Spanish and African traders brought plantains on slave ships as food for enslaved people. Plantains were considered the lowest food, the bare minimum for survival. But from this dark beginning, something unexpected would grow. Plantains are known in Latin as Musa sapientum, or the wise fruit. They grow without needing to be replanted. As long as their roots remain strong, they send up new shoots, season after season. But the most extraordinary part of the plantain story isn't just its resilience. It's how it was transformed. The descendants of those enslaved people didn't just accept this humble food as something forced on them. Instead, they claimed it as their own, reinventing it as a vital part of their cultural identity. And so plantains, slowly over time, have evolved from being a food that was expressly for impoverished people to one that is considered one of the most prized. I feel deeply connected to plantains. They are a staple of Puerto Rican cooking. So, they thought they were giving us garbage, but they were actually giving us gold. Plátano gold. Transforming simple ingredients into something nourishing reflects the ethos of the civil rights movement, where ordinary people came together to create extraordinary change. People often forget that Latinos played a key role in the civil rights era. Dr. King recognized that the struggles faced by Black and Latino communities were interconnected, so he sought out Latino leaders. One of those leaders was Gilberto Gerena Valentin, president of the New York Puerto Rican Day Parade. As Valentin recalled, Dr. King invited me to talk about the march. He asked me to organize Latinos, and so I did. At the March on Washington, thousands of Latinos joined the crowd, including many Puerto Ricans from New York City. From the same stage where Dr. King would later deliver his I Have a Dream speech, Gilberto Gerena Valentin addressed the crowd in Spanish, condemning the discrimination faced by Puerto Ricans and Hispanics. But despite this historic moment, major news outlets ignored Valentin's participation, leaving the role Latinos played that day untold. Valentin was one of many Latino voices that shaped the civil rights movement, yet history overlooked him. I want to reclaim these stories, to tell them fully, and to show how people like Valentin, and even humble ingredients like the plantain, can be transformed into symbols of identity and pride. There are endless ways to cook plantains. Mofongo is easily the most famous dish of Puerto Rico. In the US, you most often see them as tostones, fried green plantains, all kinds of chips. And of course, sweet plantains or maduros.
Delicious.
Today, I'm gonna make my grandmother's mofongo. It was one of my favorite things that she prepared when I was young. So mofongo is essentially fried plantains that are smashed with garlic and salt. Of all the foods that I would eat when I would go to Puerto Rico to visit my grandmother, mofongo is probably the one that I remember the most. Not just because it is delicious, but because it was so unique. Plátanos and mofongo are my food. They are central to my history and core to my being. Food brings people together, but it's more than just taste or tradition. It carries the stories of survival, adaptation, and identity. So I prepared this mofongo in the way that my grandmother typically prepared it. It's a little bit lighter. It's served with this lemongrass shrimp broth. I'm so grateful for y'all. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Truly. The plantains' journey mirrors the fight for civil rights. What began as a tool of oppression became a source of strength and pride, a symbol of how people can transform hardship into something beautiful. When I cook dishes inspired by my Puerto Rican heritage and share them with my loved ones in New York, I'm adding to that story and shaping the plantains' legacy. Plantains remind us that even from dark beginnings, we can grow toward the light.